Warning, do not attempt to fill your vapor flask with any type of alcohol, including but not limited to rum, Jaeger, tequila, vodka, whiskey, gin, or schnapps. If you attempt to do so, your warranty will be rendered null and void. Welcome to the Vapor Flask review, folks. Let's go ahead and take a look. The iconic flask. In its original iteration, a marvelous receptacle for holding a plethora of spirits and distilled delights that many responsibly enjoy. The shape and diminutive size of the alcohol flask made it the accessory of choice for a wide variety of people, not limited to cheapskates, hipsters, and of course concert goers looking for a way to carry their white lightning in style. The unique design of the flask meant it tended to stay upright in the pocket and conform to the curve of one's leg for comfort, whether sitting or standing. So given the comfort and style that this simple container exhibits, it seems natural that someone would come up with the regulated device in that form factor, which still pays homage, at least in appearance, to that of its liquored up ancestor, the alcohol flask. Enter the Vapor Flask. Using the evolved DNA30 chip, powered by two Sony 18650s, and rocking a machined, not cast, 6061 aluminum housing with custom milled buttons. It's time to vape in style. Let's go ahead and take it down to the desk. Okay, so I've had the pleasure of using the Vapor Flask for a few weeks now, and it's performed admirably. It comes with this nice leather pouch here. Again, it's a great way to protect it if you're dropping this into your bag and you don't want it to get jostled around too much and come in contact with change or something like that. Now, the version that I have here is the raw finish, so this is raw aluminum. The retail versions of this device are going to be available in two finishes, clear anodized and gunmetal anodized. Now, of course, we see it's using the DNA30 chip, and the first thing you'll notice is that the battery is very low. That is because I've been using this quite heavily over the course of the past 2 days. So I would say, you know, the past 2 work days, so 16 hours, 18 hours, something like that. And it's performed very well, and of course it's still got a bit of a charge on it. So that's testament to the batteries that are powering this beast, which it does use dual Sony VTC5s. They're 2600 mAh piece, and if you look at the bottom here, you'll see the serial number. It is actually V154. I had to look at it up close here, and you'll see there are vent holes beneath each of the battery bays, which is great. Very nice provision for venting there. Looking back at the top, of course, you can see that there is a stainless steel 510 connector inset here. Of course, there is always a concern when you're talking about aluminum. You don't really want your 510 threads to be aluminum. Of course, aluminum is much softer than stainless steel, so your atomizer threads being stainless steel, they will cause the threads on your mod to wear quicker if it's aluminum. Fortunately, with this device, he used a stainless steel 510, and it does have a spring-loaded brass contact in it. I can't say enough about spring-loaded contacts. I'm a firm believer in these things. Of course, you know, it actually springs up and down, and it uses a pretty good amount of resistance there. So basically, you shouldn't have to worry. This is not a load-bearing spring. So for those of you who venture into the sub-ohm rebuilds, don't worry about that spring collapsing. The spring is basically for resistance, for upward pressure, not to carry a load. So you're fine there. I've been using this with a K-Fun and talking to the modder himself. This is made in the USA, by the way, so just for those of you who might be curious, it is made in the USA. It's made of 6061 aluminum with milled buttons. These are custom-made buttons. A lot of you are familiar with the little clicky style buttons. I'm sure you've seen them on some of the more famous DNA devices, especially the ones to come out earlier last year. The buttons are okay. These buttons are okay, but I certainly like the design of these buttons more. And if you think about it, it's designed to be held in your hand. I'm left-handed, so I fire it with this hand, which still works because I can actually press the button by just squeezing my hand. But normally, as a right-handed person, you'd be holding it like this. Your index finger is going to curve up around the outside of the device and press the button, and it's a natural position for your hand to be in. And your thumb just rests right here in the curve, which is perfect. Ergonomically, it's a brilliant design. And of course, if it's in your pocket, it does not tilt and it stays along the curve of your leg. But if you look at the design here, these front buttons for your wattage adjustment, they're actually flush. So you cannot even see them until you start to tilt the device, which again is perfect. A lot of thought went into the design here, folks. And that's my takeaway from this device, is it is just very well thought out, very well machined. Of course, looking at the back here, you can see a USB port and your charge light indicator. But look at the detail here. So along the sides of this USB port, there's a bevel. And what that means is it basically guides your USB cable into place. It does come with this nice braided flat USB cable. And just to give you an indication, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And it fits so nicely in there. There's very little wiggle. It's rock solid, which I appreciate because I've got too many devices where the DNA, the USB charge circuit for the DNA is loose and wiggles around. So continuing through here, of course, top mounted display. It is serialized. 22 millimeters for your atomizer here. So any 22 millimeter atomizer will look great on here. Micro USB charging. The DNA, there's not too much to talk about there. Most of you are probably familiar with DNA30 devices. It vapes like a DNA. That's going to be a consistent experience across multiple devices. Now, I'm going to show this because this is how I've been running it. I've been using an Aspire Mini and with a standard 2 ohm vertical coil, and it's been performing great. Couldn't be happier with it. So let's go ahead and bring it up top and go to a summary. The most noticeable thing about the Vapor Flask is the ergonomics. It's just incredible, an incredible feel in the hand. Of course, if you're a right-hander, your hand is going to conform to the curves of this device, and it's going to place your finger perfectly to hit that fire button. The flush milled custom buttons on the front, they don't get actuated accidentally, but they're there when you need them. Of course, the curve, the inner curve here, that fits very nicely along the curve of your leg in your pocket, and it looks great with a K-Fun up top. And let's face it, the K-Fun is probably one of the best-selling rebuildable tank systems on the market, if not the best-selling. Design-wise and quality, I mean, it's outstanding quality, and made in the USA. So overall, I'm very, very happy with the design. Now, as to pricing, it's sold via vaperev.com, vaperev.com. They're currently sold out. They're expecting another batch next week. It is currently August 27th, 2014, so next week they are supposed to have more of these in. They're priced at $299, which may seem expensive to some at first until you consider the cost of like some of the other competing DNA devices and the fact that a lot of them don't come with batteries for that price. So you are getting two Sony VTC 5s. 2600 mAh piece, so that's a lot of battery power. If you have a chance, I highly recommend that you see one of these in person. Again, they are going to be at E-CIG, so if you're going to E-CIG in California in September, you can check them out there. But ergonomics, second to none. And I tell you what, man, it's the design of the flask. It's been around for years, and now we can vape off of them. Hope you enjoyed the review. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.